Hey everyone, it's Wale Oladipo here. Do you know that your ability to make sense of your past has a lot to do with your future wellness? Absolutely. Your ability to be able to make sense of your past negative experiences in a way that is meaningful so that the brain can integrate it properly is very crucial to the degree to which your future will benefit from great mental wellness. Clinical trials, studies, a rack of studies have shown that we now know that different chronic diseases that we have today have got their own psychological profiles. In other words, researchers have been able to match a certain propensity to repress emotions, especially negative emotions of the past, with various degenerative autoimmune diseases that we have today. One of my great teachers, Dr. Gabo Mate, in his book, When the Body Says No, documents a whole bunch, a cascade of research in this area. So I want to talk to you about the devastating effect of repressed negative emotions. The human nervous system is never designed to repress emotions, especially chronically. Now, if you repress emotions acutely, which is the quick onset of that emotion, emotional repression, and quick resolution, that is fine. But if it lingers, it compromises the immune system functions. It depresses the immune system, and before you know it, you're open to foreign invaders, virus, bacteria, fungi, and many other chronic pro-inflammatory cytokines that might start to attack your own tissues, your own cells. It's called friendly fires. Now, there's something I want to ask you. If you've gone through a tough time, series of tough times, traumatic events, could be relationship crisis, could be health situations, it could be it could be accidents, it could be childhood neglect, and different other things that a lot of us have been through. Have you ever discussed this? Have you ever been able to allow somebody to help you make sense of these things? Or did you just repress all those issues? Now, if emotions are repressed, the body will have to express the equivalence of those emotions through physical symptoms. That's what studies have shown. Emotion, which is energy, emotion, is meant to be expressed. But if you repress the emotions, what happens is that the body will turn around and say, look, here is what you've impressed, because whatever is impressed has to be expressed. The nervous system, which includes your brain, it could include other parts of your body, including your gut brain, your heart brain, they communicate together in a way that is very integrative. But if there are repressed emotions, studies have shown that the excess cortisol that you produce at the subconscious level will start to break down this integrative autonomic nervous system. So talking is one of the most powerful ways to integrate past emotions into your day-to-day brain networks so that the brain can make sense of it. So one thing, can you journal? Can you, if you don't want to talk to somebody yet, can you start to journal some of your greatest repressed emotions? Journaling, being able to write things down, has been one of the most powerful go-to sources of decompressing negative emotionalities by our ancestors. But in this generation, the generation of the computer, of the information, the games, we've neglected journaling. So why don't you start to journal again? Some of your greatest, your most difficult emotional conversations shouldn't live in your brain. You should journal them. You should write them down. Now, one important thing about writing things down is that it boosts blood flow to your brain. So your thinking brain's alive, it's agile, you're stimulating nerve impulses there. They're recruiting neurons to help you to be able to carry out all your executive functions like thinking, like remembering your thinking, but your remembering system, your memory system will work better because they are not being inundated with unwanted, repressed negative emotions. When you put things down, you express them on paper and you just free your autonomic nervous system of unnecessary hard work. Also, if you write things down, you are programming your subconscious mind for peace. Saying, okay, I'm dealing with this. It doesn't have to be committed to the implicit memory of my subconscious to haunt me later. Now I'm processing it and I'm doing something about it. Now, another purpose, another reason for writing things down is that you activate your right hemisphere. Now we have the left hemisphere, we have the right hemisphere. The left hemisphere of the brain, as we know, is in charge of logic, linear information, rational information. Now the right hemisphere specializes in emotions. Now, many people who've gone through traumatic experiences in the past have shut down, literally, the right hemisphere access because they don't want to be overwhelmed by those negative, traumatic events that they didn't want to remember. And because of that, they've lost a lot of capacities that the emotional center of the right hemisphere also gives us, the sense of imagination. Our memory unit is weak because it's not being supported by the right hemisphere, hippocampal, that's supposed to be responsible for that. Now, journaling integrates both left and right hemisphere. Now, if you start to journal, you'll notice an elevated state of anxious state that you've been on. You realize that there's going to be a state of reduced anxiety levels because you are now taking active processes to deal with your emotions. Now, another thing I want to recommend is that some of you might need the help of a therapist, someone who's been trained to help you process emotions, make sense of the past. Now, if you don't make sense of the past, it will be very difficult to maintain wellness, even as we grow older, as the vulnerability of aging sets in. So I recommend a therapist for everybody. Everybody. Many people will come to me in our workshops and they'll say, Wale, everything about me, everything about my life has been great. But there's always that situation where I struggle with being able to control my emotions. Like there's some elements within me outside of my sense of self that are in control. I'm inundated, overwhelmed by negative physiological shock reactions all the time. And it could just be because your anxiety center is picking up on all these repressed emotions. Now, being able to make sense of the past negative events will free your autonomic nervous system to do its job of regulating you. Also, will strengthen the immune system functions so that you are better protected. Also, you will reduce your cortisol levels. That means your thinking brain will work better. Your hippocampus, which is your major memory center, will be able to work better as well. In fact, the entire being will work better. So why don't you look for someone, or starting your journaling today, or look for someone if you feel you need someone to help you in this area. And let there be an opportunity for someone to get involved into your story so that the brain can have an autobiographical understanding of what happened. Now, there's a part of the brain that I've mentioned called the hippocampus. Now, many traumatic memories will not be recorded in the hippocampus until you make sense of them. You give dialogue a chance. You give an opportunity for you to be able to go through them, make sense of them properly, through dialoguing, through follow-up questions, through following leads. It's usually better done when somebody who's been trained helps you to do this. So I like to recommend that you get yourself into a situation whereby you can make sense of the past instead of repressing the past. Make sense of the past. And this will turn around to be one of the most powerful decisions you've ever made. Cancer, cardiovascular disease, strokes, autoimmune diseases, all of which have been linked to repressed, unprocessed emotions. So Mwala Ladipo, I hope you're going to take this to the next level. Evaluate your life and see whether you could talk to somebody. See whether you could connect with other people. To see whether you could start to write things down, at least to relieve the brain of the pressure of the unconscious repressed negative emotions that we face every day. If you like, if you've enjoyed this, please like this and share with some people that you feel might be reluctant to seek help when they feel that they actually need help, but they don't want to seek help. Please like it and share it. And I'm going to see you soon. But well, by the way, if you want to check our website out, mindbodybreakthrough.co.uk, we have a whole bunch of workshops and events that we run just to help people understand the neuroscience, the biochemistry of the brain with regards to all our psychopathological disorders, all our mental health issues that we face today. So hopefully I'll see you one day face to face. Thank you. Bye.